What's up, everybody? It's your boy Nacho Jedi. Hope you're all having a really good week or had a really good week and you have a great weekend. It's been a while, I do this every other week. I don't do this all the time. Just want to say I hope you're all doing well. Yeah, there's a lot of things that we can cover today again. Nonstop. There's always new things happening in the world. There's always new things happening in the Star Wars world. I'm not like other content creators where I'm always posting constantly about these things. So I just talk about it here, just give you a little bit of an update, a little bit of my opinion of the whole thing, stuff like that. Nothing too crazy this week. It's been a really long one. It has just been really, really long. So I'm excited to kind of just enjoy the weekend. And I hope you all are too. Football's back. So for all my sports nerds, I hope you enjoy having football back. And for my Star Wars nerds, here we are again. More things to keep talking about. One of the things, and this is going to lead to another more serious topic later on, but essentially I was watching some other content creators and I watched, I hear things too, and then going back to the Acolyte and specific actress wanted to talk about her personal feelings about the show getting canceled. Totally justified. You can do that. You're right, as someone who was on the show, to have your own personal opinions and talk about it. Just probably could be done in a better way. I know a lot of people found the show negative. They didn't really like it, which understandable. But she came out and kind of attacked the people who didn't like it, using those buzzwords again, calling us either all right or racist, bigots, all this other stuff. Personally, don't find that really cool. I feel like majority of the Star Wars fans don't fall into any of those categories. And it goes back to what we talked about in my last episode. Me and Disney and everybody who's in charge in Star Wars need to start working on giving us better products. And I would even go further and not just say Star Wars. I feel like cinema as a whole has been struggling to find, things to cover and things to make us excited about. I feel like everything hasn't been living up to the expectation that you originally think. I feel like has been talked about for years before it even came out. And to get the product that we received wasn't good. I'm not a big fan of having multiple years to do something and then it just doesn't come to fruition. It just doesn't look right. It doesn't, just everything about it is just not good. And if at the end of the day you just divide the fans even more. I feel like if you have fans anticipating something, that it should be good at that point. It seems to not be the case lately. You have the outliers, everybody. I heard a lot of good things about Deadpool. People like the whole Barbie Oppenheimer thing that was going on. Were they good movies? Yeah, they're pretty good movies. People really seem to enjoy Barbie. Oppenheimer was a really good movie, things like that. But it seems like a very, outside of the small little few movies here and there, that people haven't really been giving us much to work with. And I feel like personally in Star Wars, the writing is just not there in these shows anymore. And you can chalk it up however you want it, but at the end of the day, it didn't do well because the fans weren't interested. And you have to have the fans interested in the show in order to continue to sustain that show and continue to produce that show. You're gonna just lose money. everybody talks about money, and they want to make all this money back. They're putting all this money into it. You put all this money into it just for what? And lose it because no one wants to watch that. Like it just makes no sense to me. And to specifically be talking about select, like even just talking about Star Wars fans, specifically ones that didn't like the show in that negative light, shows, like she said, she lives in her own little bubble. Is very evident that she does. I feel like a lot of actors or actresses, maybe not a lot, but a handful, maybe a good amount. I don't know, I'm not in that life like that, but it feels like celebrities really are just not in touch with the normal people, and they think like just because they're famous of some type and like they're entitled to something, they're entitled to being liked. I don't have to like you. Just like how people don't have to like me in my life, I don't have to like you. I don't have to like the product that you give me. And to be honest, like that's part of life, and you're gonna have to deal with it. Like living your own little bubble is wonderful and stuff sometimes, but it's gonna hurt when you get shot back down to reality. And that acolyte was shot back down. It went right back to Earth. Like it wasn't good. A lot of people didn't like it. Now I'll say this: I hate just like ripping things. Like it doesn't do me any like pleasure or anything like that to just keep pounding like into this topic and just being so negative. I'm not much of a negative person like that. But I will say, if you enjoy it, then watch it. Enjoy your thing. If you like it, enjoy it. There's no reason, no one should be telling you not to. Just go enjoy it. Enjoy Star Wars. That's all why we're here anyways. It's one big story that we all fell in love with at one point or another. If you love Acolyte, well, guess what? It's on Disney Plus. Go keep watching it. You can watch it over and over and over again. Just know there ain't gonna be no season 2. But you know what? You like it, so enjoy it. And if that happens to one of the shows that I like, they just cancel it. I'll just keep watching the parts that I like. I don't have to watch the whole thing. I don't have to sit here and have a second season all the time or another season. If it ends, it ends. If you enjoy it, sit down and enjoy it. You don't need other people's approval or other people, saying that, hey man, I like that too. They don't need to agree with you. They don't. And to be honest, sometimes it's a little bit more fun that way. You don't have to always agree on everything. So it starts debates, starts conversation. And you never know. Maybe you can convince somebody that the show wasn't as bad as they recollect. You convince me? Probably not. But you might. You never know if you make a compelling argument. But I will say that when it comes to life as a whole, it's already difficult enough. And having not only people with quote-unquote status talking negatively about you because you didn't like the show, so they're sitting here saying false things about you without necessarily saying it to you directly, just lumping you in a whole group, and really having no remorse about it, because it didn't seem like she had remorse. She even made a diss track about it, like about people that didn't like the show, but that's not cool. Like it's shows me where your heart, your mind, and your, I don't know, your person just is where you're at. And I personally don't like it. Maybe some people think she's great. I don't think that's something a good person would do. A good person will sit here and be like, hey, we all love Star Wars here. We're trying to do something cool. If you don't like it, I'm sorry. We tried, but to sit here and deliberately attack us, because we didn't like something is crazy. It makes no sense to me personally. Um, but hey, and that goes to the other way too. If you're sitting here and you're just nonstop, saying everything that about Star Wars is bad, all the people who like those things are idiots or things like that, then you are part of the problem too. Like, we shouldn't be doing that. At the end of the day, we're all human beings. Whether we disagree with each other or agree with each other, it doesn't matter. We need to be treating people with love, respect, dignity, and not just doing all this craziness that the society this day and age has been doing. I feel like social media has made a lot of people very brave, and they shouldn't be, because the world will turn around and you will reap what you sow. And because you're sitting here talking crazy on the internet doesn't mean something can't happen someday to you, and might not even be anybody physically retaliating to you, but life can kick you. Life can kick you hard. Karma is not fun. So you sitting here being a bad person doing bad things, that's what can happen to you. You got to be careful. There's no reason to be attacking anybody over a show that you helped make, or just a show that you watched. It's not good. And I feel like personally that if I was being attacked like that, like if I made a show, people didn't like it, and they're saying my show was dumb or the writing was horrible, that's things that you should take back to you, or like back with you, like, okay, how do I make this better next time? Like, what was the flaws? Things like that to help you grow as a writer, help you grow as an actor. But to sit here and just be very ignorant to what's kind of going on, and like just being hard-headed and steadfast in something that you shouldn't be in, it definitely shows that you're not, at the moment, shows that you're not capable of growing and learning. And that's not. And once you stop doing that, once you stop learning, once you stop growing as an individual, then what are you doing? Life will continue to go on, and you should continue to evolve with it, where it will leave you behind. And actors, they become relevant, and they can become irrelevant very quickly. And that's just the way life is. If people don't like you, no one's going to watch anything with you in it, which means people are going to stop hiring you because you are going to make them lose money. It's the way the world works. And I will say, she had, like, there's some points, like, yeah, people were very, very, like, strongly critiquing the act. We have our right to do that. But at the same time, if there were just more attacks than actual criticism about the show, like, we're complaining that the lore is like kind of getting messed up, like things didn't make sense. You're throwing these characters in, but like at the same time, you're forgetting what happens in like the movies. Like, you got to make sure that it stays in flow with the lore. And you're trying to change things. That's cool. No, you can try to bend things, change the lore a little bit because you were writing whatever. But at the same time, you got to be careful, because once you start messing up the story, or potentially messing up the story, then people are going to let you know. And people find their favorite franchise is very sacred to them, so they will attack you, and they will let you know that you're doing a poor job. And I feel like if people were attacking her because of her race, or because her acting skills in a sense, then that's different. Like, well, we can say that she's a bad actress. That's okay. But if she did what the producer and the director and the writers wanted her to do, and there's nothing she can really do about it, then so be it. That's just the way it is. Hayden Christensen got a lot of hate for his portrayal of Anakin, and especially in episode 2. But he was doing his job. He was doing what he was supposed to do. He was doing what he was told to do, and people attacked him for it. And I feel like people go too much into the whole bullying aspect of it. It's one thing to poke fun, like, hey man, that looked dumb. Like what you did there wasn't good. I don't like to say it, but at the same time, you continue to just go after them, just making their lives miserable. Then that's crossing the line. And I feel like that happened with even the young Anakin. That's why he kind of just hated Star Wars after that. Like Jake Lloyd, like he had some problems because people were constantly bullying him for his portrayal of Anakin as well. And I feel like that can kind of go too far at times. And you have to be very careful on how far you're pushing people, how far you're pushing these jokes and stuff like that. Because sometimes, you think that you're just playing around, but it can actually be very hurtful to that person. And, actors, actresses, and, us normies, we all deal with that. You can only deal with so much luggage and stuff. So just be mindful of that. Like, if you're gonna critique something, have a legitimate critique. Have like, hey, this is what you didn't really go too well. Maybe you should work on this so you can be better in the future. Not just typically just be like, that sucked, you suck. We don't ever want to see you again. Why are you doing this again? Oh my God, this movie's gonna suck. Like, just give everything its time. Everybody, watch Acolyte, try to see what was going to be like. Everybody had their certain stopping points. In my last episode, I said my time is very valuable. So my tolerance for bad movies and bad shows is going to be really, really short, because I don't got a lot of time like throughout the day to be just constantly just watching this thing. You're going to have to make me want to watch it. And if you don't, then I'm not going to. And that's why Acolyte failed. And the second season was canceled because everybody who had the same mindset as me was like, I'm done watching. There's so many other things I could be watching right now that'd be less of a waste of time for me. So I think that's that whole thing with Acolyte and with the actress talking about, the haters, quote unquote. It's part of me also feels like it's kind of cringy, like that you're sitting here and you're on social media talking about you don't do social media often, but you're going on social media just to complain about the people who didn't like the show. Is crazy to me. Stay off social media then. Like, you're hearing all these things because you're paying attention somewhere, somehow. So if you don't want to hear that noise, then just stop listening. Unless you're willing to take the critiques that are coming with Star Wars. You put yourself into a franchise that is like the biggest franchise in the world. Like, everybody knows Star Wars at least some way or another, whether they just know Darth Vader or they actually know the story and stuff. You put yourself out there and you're going to be judged. You're going to be looked at very harshly if you do a bad job. And that whole crew pretty much got it. Everybody who was involved in that show, you got the same criticism. So they can either learn from it or they can continue to cry about it. But at the end of the day, the fans spoke. They didn't like it. Show's no more. That's how the life works. So give a good product and you will have a job longer. Luckily for me, my job's not dependent on that. I'm gonna have a job regardless. But at the end of the day, and I'm not trying to make this a very long episode. Actually, this is going to be pretty done with soon. Unless people have something that you want to talk about, then I'll definitely talk about that too. But as for me right now, I just want to say it's very important that people, kind of cool down a bit. The show's over. It's not that serious anymore. Be careful what you say. Be careful how you say it to people, and just remember that life is very precious. It can be over at any time. The reason why I say that, and another reason why my Links over here. Yeah, my little Nacho thing is black and yellow. For those who don't know, that September is actually Suicide Awareness Month. There's a couple different ribbons and stuff, like the teal and purple, and there's a yellow ribbon for suicide awareness, the black one for mourning, all that other stuff. So right now mine is black and yellow. And just want to let everybody know that if you're dealing with anything, if you're struggling with anything, to talk to somebody. And if someone reaches out to you and reaches out their hand, reaching for any sort of help, and you just so happen to be that person, it's important to take that job serious, to not betray that trust, to take care of that person, because suicide has definitely been a horrible thing that's been happening in our society. Constantly, I think there's a suicide every 11 minutes is what I read. About 50,000 people committed suicide in the U.S. alone. And that was like in 2022, 2023, 1 or 2. It's a very serious thing. There's a whole 22 movement for the 22 veterans, that kill themselves every day. Whether those numbers have changed or not, I don't know. But it shows, especially that the month of September is dedicated to that this is a very important thing. And it's very important for us to take care of one another. Don't be bullying all crazy. Don't be saying all these craziness to make someone feel lesser. The world's already crazy enough. But right here, if you're dealing with anything, if you are struggling with your fight, reach out to somebody. You can call 988 or text home to 741-741. That's the suicide hotline. It's been such a case that they have their own number, 988 now. Instead of that long old number that it used to be. 24 hours. If you need help, if you need to talk, contact the suicide hotline or someone you trust, whether it's a chaplain or your pastor or a friend or a cousin, your parents. Doesn't matter. Reach out to somebody. Don't go through the struggle alone. That is all I have for today. Hope you all have a really good weekend. Don't mean to leave it on such a bummer of a note, but it's very important. Very important to have the awareness out for that. That is it for me. I'm Nacho Jedi. I hope you all have a great weekend. Remember to summon your eagle powers and stay strong, and may the force be with you. And that is all she